She was radiant, gentle, the kind of person who made you feel safe the moment she walked into a room. That's how her students remembered her. Sister Cathy Cesnik, known as Cathy to her family, wasn't just a nun bound by habit and rules. She was a teacher, a mentor, a friend, and a lifeline to countless young women who trusted her when they could trust no one else. She was only 26 years old when she vanished on a cold November night in Baltimore in 1969. Her green Ford Maverick was found abandoned on a quiet side street not far from her apartment. Inside were the groceries she had just purchased, a loaf of bread, a box of rolls, still neatly wrapped, the car door slightly ajar, the scene haunting in its ordinariness. 2 months later, her body was discovered in a garbage-strewn ravine outside the city. She had been beaten, left exposed to the cold, discarded as if she did not matter. But Cathy mattered, to her family, to her students, to the community she served, and the story of her murder has haunted Baltimore for more than 5 decades. Because behind her disappearance lurk secrets, secrets of power, secrets of abuse, secrets of silence, secrets some believe she died trying to expose. Cathy was born on November 17, 1942, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The eldest of 4 children in a Slovak Catholic family, she was raised with faith, discipline, and humility. Her parents, Anna and Joseph, worked hard, instilling values that Cathy carried all her life. From an early age, she stood out. She loved poetry, she adored music, she had a gift for memorizing lines and performing in theater. But more than talent, she had empathy. Her younger sister Marilyn later recalled, Cathy had this way about her. She made you feel like what you were going through mattered, that you mattered. By her teenage years, Cathy knew her path. She wanted to teach, to guide young people, to help them discover their voices. But she also felt a deeper pull, one of faith. At 18, she joined the Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur, a Catholic order devoted to education and service. The 1960s were years of change in the Church. Vatican II reforms emphasized compassion and connection. Cathy embraced that spirit. She wasn't a distant figure of authority. She laughed with her students. She encouraged creativity. She made them believe they could be more than the world told them they could be. When she arrived at Archbishop Keough High School in Baltimore, Cathy quickly became beloved. She taught English. She directed plays. She poured her energy into her students. Her classroom was not just about literature. It was about life. It was about confidence. It was about belief. Students remembered how she would write them personal notes of encouragement, how she attended their events, how she treated them not as children to be controlled, but as individuals with voices that mattered. But Cathy was also perceptive. She noticed changes in her students, nervous glances, withdrawn behavior, fear in eyes that should have been carefree. She asked questions. She listened. Survivors would later say she was the only adult they trusted, the only one who could see what was happening. And what was happening inside Keough High School was a nightmare. Baltimore in 1969 was scarred. The riots that followed the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. had left wounds still fresh. Poverty, segregation, corruption. And through it all, the Catholic Church remained a powerful force. Priests and nuns shaped education, morality, community life. Questioning them was nearly unthinkable. At Keough, one man embodied that power, Father Joseph Maskell. Outwardly, he was respected, intelligent, charismatic. Families trusted him. As chaplain and counselor, he had extraordinary access to students. But behind closed doors, survivors say he was a predator. He used therapy as a weapon. He manipulated girls. He threatened them. He told them no one would believe them. He invoked God to enforce their silence. Most suffered in silence. But not Cathy. Students confided in her. Survivors believed she had begun piecing together what Maskell was doing, that she was preparing to intervene, that she might have been ready to expose him. And then, she disappeared. It was Friday, November 7th, 1969. Cathy left the apartment she shared with another young nun, Sister Helen Phillips. She said she was going shopping. Around 7:30 p.m., she drove her green Ford Maverick to Edmondson Village Shopping Center. She stopped at a bakery, bought bread and rolls, and left as calmly as if it were any other night. But she never came home. The next morning, Sister Helen noticed Cathy's bed was empty, her car still gone. Hours stretched into panic. That afternoon, police found her Maverick parked illegally near her apartment, the bread and rolls still inside, no signs of struggle, no theft, no explanation. For nearly 2 months, her family pleaded for answers. Students prayed. Flyers appeared across Baltimore. But there was only silence. Until January 3rd, 1970. 2 hunters in Lansdowne stumbled upon a body in a wooded ravine. It was Cathy. She had been beaten. Forensic examination revealed blunt force trauma to her head. Her body partially clothed, left exposed to the elements. Police launched an investigation. They interviewed friends, colleagues, family. They explored her past relationships. They asked about her routines. But one name surfaced again and again: Father Joseph Maskell. Rumors spread. Cathy had known too much. She had threatened to expose him, and then she was gone. One survivor, Jean Weiner, later revealed that Maskell once drove her to the very ravine where Cathy's body was found. He pointed and said, "You see what happens when you say bad things about people." It was a chilling warning, but Maskell denied involvement, and with his deep ties to the police, to politics, to the church, he remained untouchable. Detectives said they had no evidence. The case grew cold. Cathy's murder faded into silence. Behind Maskell's collar was a life of shadows. Born in 1939, ordained in 1965, he rose quickly in the church. At Keough, he cultivated trust while preying on the vulnerable. Survivors later recounted counseling sessions that turned into nightmares. Some spoke of guns laid on desks to intimidate them. Others recalled police officers appearing in Maskell's office, reinforcing his power. He convinced victims that their silence was survival, that no one would believe them. For years, those girls carried their trauma. They believed Cathy was their only hope. And then, she was gone. The 1970s passed. The church quietly reassigned Maskell. Complaints were buried, survivors ignored. Cathy's family left with grief and no justice. Her sister Marilyn later said, "We just wanted to know who did this. But every time we asked, it was like running into a wall." By the 1990s, survivors began to speak. Lawsuits were filed against the Archdiocese of Baltimore. Maskell's name appeared again and again. Journalists dug, investigators reopened files. In 1994, Maskell was finally removed from his parish. Facing mounting scrutiny, he fled to Ireland. He died there in 2001. By then, dozens of survivors had come forward, but no charges were ever filed. Cathy's murder remained unsolved. In 2017, Netflix released The Keepers, a documentary series that reignited global attention. Survivors like Jean Weiner and Teresa Lancaster spoke publicly. They connected Cathy's death to Maskell's abuse and to the silence of powerful institutions. The series raised disturbing questions. Did police protect Maskell? Did the church cover up Cathy's murder? Was she killed because she knew too much? Forensic experts revisited Cathy's remains. They confirmed blunt force trauma, but decades of exposure had degraded the evidence. DNA testing was inconclusive. The theory remained that Cathy was killed elsewhere, then dumped in the ravine. By someone who knew the terrain, by someone who knew how to make her vanish. To this day, no one has been charged with the murder of Sister Cathy Cesnik. For her family, the lack of answers is devastating. For her former students, the guilt lingers. Many believe she died because she tried to protect them. One student put it simply, "She tried to save us," and they silenced her. Yet Cathy's legacy endures. Survivors found strength in speaking out, advocacy groups formed, voices once silenced found courage. Her students remember her laughter, her kindness, her unwavering belief in them. Her sister Marilyn continues to fight for answers, refusing to let Cathy's story fade. The strange murder of Sister Cathy Cesnik remains unsolved. Was it Maskell? Was it someone protecting him? Or was it part of something larger, a system designed to bury the truth? We may never know the full story, but we do know this. Cathy mattered. She mattered to her family, to her students, To the survivors who say she gave them hope, her story is a warning. Silence is dangerous, cover-ups destroy lives, justice delayed is justice denied. If this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Cathy was silenced because she knew too much? What does her story reveal about power and truth? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Evidence Uncovered, and turn on notifications so you never miss a case. Because behind every unsolved mystery is a human being whose life deserves to be remembered. And Cathy's story must never be forgotten.